So yesterday, as we were reacting to the Michael Wolff book, Fire and Fury, about Donald Trump and what was happening inside the White House, we wondered what would the conservative reaction be? How would Fox News react? How would maybe the donors react? And we have that for you today. We have all the answers as to how they would react, and it is awesome. So would they side with Trump or the leader of the alt-right, Steve Bannon? I mean, they love both those guys, so that was gonna be a little bit of a tough question for him. Of course, one is president, so that might have made it a little bit of a difference. We're gonna start with Fox News. Sean Hannity, oh, he's so conflicted. Let's watch.
The media tonight, they're hyperventilating. Again, foaming at the mouth. The back and forth between President Trump, former White House advisor Steve Bannon. Here's the thing, the media loves Steve Bannon for the moment. They love when Republicans or conservatives are fighting and create a circular firing squad. In real life, they hate Bannon and they hate Trump. But they'll, right now they'll be supportive of Steve Bannon if they think he's advancing their cause. They love these intramural fights. This isn't going to be a story in 48 hours.
This isn't going to be a story in 48 hours. That's why Trump just sent a cease and desist letter trying to make sure that nobody ever sees the book. Oh, they're hyperventilating. Are you insane? Could you imagine if there was a book about the Obama administration that had interviewed 200 people, verified audio recordings, where almost every Obama staffer said, it's unbelievable how stupid Obama is, how incompetent Obama is, how Obama's actions were treasonous. Could you imagine what Hannity and Fox News would do? But here's, it's not a big story. I mean, I don't know why you guys are hyperventilating. Okay, yeah, look, no one likes Steve Bannon. So he said these things. The fact that he said them is verifiable. That doesn't mean that the media or anyone else is like, oh, Steve Bannon's a good guy now. No, nobody thinks that. No, we all think you're all bad guys. If that makes you feel better, Sean. So now let's go to Fox and Friends. They had a night to think about it. Hannity had to go on air immediately. Fox and Friends is in the morning. So let's see if they came up with a better defense.
The question is, what does Steve Bannon get out of disparaging the president in a way in which all his critics do? What does he, I just kept asking myself this last night, what does he get out of this?
Michael Caputo was actually on the campaign. He was a senior advisor. He says this book is trash.
I stand with the president. This book by Michael Wolff is just trash.
Okay, so they're clearly coming out on the side of Trump. That's Trump's favorite show, Fox and Friends. And they bring on a Trump ally to go, oh yeah, Trump, yeah, book's trash. Oh, let's say Bannon, what's he doing? Now let's go to the second part.
The media who doesn't like him, they're running with this. Of course, this is their headline on every single network this morning. They're loving this. But when you look at it, it's just a salacious book. It's so tabloid. It's a book about what this guy who was fired was saying about what was happening inside the White House. Do you really care? Write us and let us know. If you care about that, or if you care about what the economy looks like, all these jobs, people are getting bonuses.
You're not hearing so much about those stories.
Not on those left-leaning media outlets.
I love the panic in the morning. I mean, do you care? Do you care? I mean, it turns out according to Michael Wolff, 100% of the staff around Donald Trump think he is incapable of doing the job. I mean, do you care that the president's totally incompetent and everyone around him thinks he's totally stupid and couldn't possibly do the job? Why is that irrelevant? Come on, let's talk about something else. Come on, please, squirrel. Okay, but we haven't gotten to the best defense yet. Here comes Kilmeade.
The one thing I just want to say, the one way he was characterized, I could absolutely tell you is wrong. The president doesn't like to read briefing books. He can't get through. When they talk about the Constitution, he didn't get through it. When he sits down with world leaders, he doesn't stay there. He gets bored. I've heard just the exact opposite. One-on-one, he could go on forever. He likes the briefing pages to understand before he goes in. In fact, when he was just a prospective candidate, he used to walk around in an old-fashioned way with folders like this. And I one time asked him, I go, what's in there? He goes, just news stories from around the country and different policy ideas. So I thought to myself, wow, I thought on his device he would carry it. He loves paging through different stories and different ideas and different columns. He didn't characterize him as somebody who doesn't read anything.
Oh, he likes the briefing pages. It's not just this book. Every single report for the last year has said, from insiders right next to Donald Trump, saying we can't get him to read a single page. the briefings on incredibly important matters like nuclear war with North Korea. It used to be 4 pages. They had to knock it down to 1 page. Then they had to put pictures and graphs into the page. Then they had to put Trump's name all over the page so he'd concentrate. And then even then, he couldn't read 1 page. So they started boiling things down to tweet size and putting Trump's name in it. Oh, he likes the briefing papers. I saw it. Oh man, he's flipping through. Brian, let it go. Let it go. No one, not even the hardcore MAGA guys think that. They think, yeah, of course, you should be stupid. Why would you ever read anything? Tweet's the only thing you gotta read, right? Let it go, Brian. So, but which side are they gonna take? So it's obvious, Fox News has decided, okay, Trump, we're going, Hannity still wants to have lunch with both. He's a little conflicted, but Trump overall. But how about the alt-right, like the crazies, Alex Jones, Roger Stone, like the hatchet men, the conspiracy theorists, etc. They loved Bannon in the past. Which way are they gonna go? Oh, they have made up their mind. You're gonna love this, watch.
Look, I like Steve Bannon. I am an ally of Steve Bannon. We don't see eye to eye on everything. We have our disagreements, particularly his tendency to wear 3 button-down shirts on top of each other. But it's a free country, and he's free to dress like a vagabond if he wishes to.
What about the delusional garbage where he says he may run for president and beat Trump, though he loves him so much? How can a guy that looks like he's got organ failure, and I'm not saying he does, but looks like he's been run over by a truck with dandruff all over him and wearing 3 shirts, winning the best worst dress award in the world? How can a guy that looks like he's playing a vagabond from some medieval, theater show, how can Mr. Dandruff just come out and announce it with his big, giant, red, swollen eyeballs that look like an owl on PCP that you poured 14 bottles of scotch on top of? How can this creature, festooned with bodyguards and apparent schizophrenia, how can he become our new Lord?
He was headed in that direction. You were also going to say that he got run over by a dandruff truck? And he poured 14 bottles of scotch. Well, we have our conclusion. Conservatives have come out against Steve Bannon. Look, I'll give Alex Jones credit on that. First time ever giving Alex Jones credit, not because he's against Steve Bannon, because that was at least entertaining. I mean, Laura Ingraham on Fox News, what a snore, right? Alex Jones at least knows how to insult someone. He's going through organ failure. He looks like an owl on PCP. I don't know where the hell he's getting those. Anyway, maybe the same place where he found the 80% gorilla, 80% pig, 80% human hybrids. Anyway, either way, now you know Stone, Alex Jones, Fox, all those guys. Sorry, Steve Bannon, you're done, son. None of them are going with you. Okay, now it gets even worse. At Breitbart Inside, whoa, no, Steve Bannon runs Breitbart. It says this, the core constituency for Breitbart is what you would call the Trump deplorables. That's the audience. And if they're asked to choose between Steve and Trump, they're going to choose Trump. That's clear. Uh-oh. No. Because if he loses Breitbart, you know what Steve Bannon has left? Nothing. Nothing at all. Wait. We haven't even gotten to the best part. These are all awesome. But what is Steve Bannon going to do in reaction? Hold? Okay, let me give you more. At least 2 candidates supported by Bannon, including Senate hopeful Kelly Ward of Arizona, sought to distance themselves on Wednesday. So even the candidates who are on his side, pull the chute, get the hell out of there. Now, the death blow. Bannon has in recent weeks also alienated his main financial backer, Rebecca Mercer, after he told several other major conservative donors that he would be able to count on Mercer's financial support should he run for president. A person familiar with the conversation said. The person said Mercer now does not plan to financially support Bannon's future projects and that she was frustrated by his moves in Alabama and some of his comments in the news media that seemed to stoke unnecessary fights. And that's all she wrote. So without billionaire donors behind you, you know what a conservative has left? Nothing. That's the whole infrastructure that holds up the edifice of any conservative media, talk show host, etc. Right? So Breitbart doesn't make any money, and apparently he's even losing the Breitbart audience. Without the Mercers, who are the main guys backing Bannon, he has nothing left. This was a disaster. An absolute debacle. Look, Trump looks like an idiot, and he is an idiot, but in terms of and Trump will have his day. I mean, so Trump looks ridiculous, and I think people now, the overwhelming majority of the country already understood it. I think even some of his base now begin to understand how monumentally stupid Donald Trump is. But in terms of his career, he's got a couple of months left until Mueller reveals what he's got. Bannon is done now, okay? So allies said Bannon was largely incommunicado on Wednesday. He had considered issuing a statement denouncing the book and denying some of the quotes, but was not able to do so before Trump went on the attack, they said. See, that goes to Bannon's point, and exactly what I said on the show yesterday. I said, look, if they were smart, Bannon and Trump would have gotten together and said, oh, it's fake news, the book isn't true, those quotes aren't true, the book is full of lies. But Trump is too stupid to contain himself, he's too much of a child, just like the book says. So what did he do? He blurted out, oh, Steve Bannon, he's lost his mind, he's terrible, blah. Then Bannon's screwed. Then he can't go back and say, oh, I didn't mean it. So what's he gonna do instead? This is awesome, okay. When asked on his radio show, well, hey, what say you, Steve Bannon, about all this? He says, nothing will ever come between us and President Trump and his agenda. Don't worry about that. Is that right? He says, don't worry about us and Trump and Make America Great Again agenda. We're tight on this as we've ever been. It doesn't look like it. Here's Donald Trump's statement from yesterday. Steve Bannon has nothing to do with me or my presidency. When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind. It doesn't appear that you guys are tight, so that was some weak sauce. Try again, Steve. So here's what he says.
President of the United States is a great man. You know, I support him day in and day out, whether going through the country, giving the Trump miracle speech or on the show or on the website. So I don't think you have to worry about that, but I appreciate the kind words.
Oh, you got cucked. You beta. There was a big clash, and what happened? Let me show you Bannon as he was saying that on the radio. Offering up his hand. That's so wonderfully sad. He went on to say, there's no one we think higher of than Donald Trump. Oh, you cuck of all cucks, you king cuck. Oh, you were so tough. You were a leader of the alt-right. You were on your we're gonna get him, we're gonna do war. And then Trump bellows at you, and everybody turns and all of a sudden, oh, he's a great man. Wonderfully pathetic. Thank you very much. I love it. So they asked Trump about it, and here he comes.
Thank you very much. I don't know, he called me a great man last night, so, he obviously changed his tune pretty quick.
And his tune pretty quick, what are you gonna do? Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna do. Whatever little self-respect Bannon had just went out the door. That was one of the saddest and most wonderful things I've ever heard. Nothing like a good cuck fight. They are everything that they claim liberals were. So when pushed, according to the book and according to Steve Bannon and Roger Ailes, who used to run Fox News, Donald Trump would actually do this himself to who? Rupert Murdoch, who's actually rich and powerful, and to Vladimir Putin. And Bannon got betaed by Donald Trump, and so now he's doing this. Because that is their nature. They're authoritarian by nature. As Ailes said about Donald Trump, he shits down, but he sucks up. That's who they are at their core. If you like this video, bless your heart. We got a lot more where that came from. We do a full show every day, Monday through Friday. Come enjoy it ad-free by becoming a member, tytnetwork.com/join.